everyone, and welcome to Sunrise Tarot. My name is Leah, and today I will be doing a reading for the beautiful sign of Cancer for the month of November 2025. As you know, this is a general reading, so there will be parts that may not resonate with you. Only take the parts that do and leave the rest for someone else. I've already meditated on the cards, I've already shuffled the cards, and this is the spread that I have for you today. In the past position, we have the Two of Swords, clarified by the Five of Pentacles. In the obstacle position, we have Justice, clarified by Temperance. In the present position, we have the Magician, clarified by the Three of Wands. And in the future outcome position, we have the Queen of Swords, clarified by the Six of Pentacles. So the good thing about the spread is that your situation does improve when it comes to financial matters. In the past position, clearly you struggled a little bit with, like in some of you may even reached like a mental blocking point when it came to dealing with financial matters. It was quite hard. There weren't a lot of choices available to you, so you may have felt like your back is against the wall when it comes to security in your life, when it comes to stability in your life, trying to stretch the budget to, as far as you could. Definitely the financial situation was a little bit dire. And, a part of you kind of didn't really want to really take a look at it because, it wasn't, a very kind of comforting situation to look at. You may have felt a little trapped as well. You also, may have wanted to handle everything yourself without reaching out and maybe asking for advice or sort of wanting to, like figure it out on your own, if you will. And so that, added to you feeling a little bit stressed out and tense. And so the good thing is that this combination is in the past position, and you've learned a lot about your own emotions. You've learned a lot about how to try and avoid this situation in the future. So, definitely a part of you kind of started to be more aware about how your emotions are tied to your stability. And in the obstacle position, you do have the Justice card with the Temperance card. Both of these are major arcana cards, and mostly kind of telling me that, especially with Justice, you maybe in the past overanalyzed certain situations too much. Maybe you were avoiding, looking at things in a very clear way because you wanted to avoid that, unpleasant feeling, if you will. A part of you also overanalyzed certain situations in your life. But when you get Justice in the obstacle position, definitely it suggests that there is lack of balance there, that there is something that something that isn't bubbling up to the top. And so because you're becoming aware of it, you're able to realize that you create justice from within. And so as you're becoming more aware of it, you are changing how you see things going forward, and how you try to figure out your emotions, where you don't sort of keep that emotional score. Looking at someone else, it can seem that their life is better. It can seem that, they have it easier. But at the same time, there's always a cost associated with it. And so the more, aware you become, like, for example, people that like to achieve a lot or want to have that status or something, it's usually because they have a very big lack of security on the inside. So they need that status in order to feel like they respect themselves. And so as you become more aware of the complexities of your emotions, you are starting to realize that you make your own justice, especially, like keeping score is not a very effective way to create stability and manifest all the wonderful things for yourself. It's like working on yourself and really not paying attention to others. It can be difficult, but little by little over time, that effort brings about abundance when you focus on yourself, and try to stay away from this moral way. This is right and that is wrong, and so on and so forth, because it gives you a little bit more space and more room to be more flexible when it comes to emotions towards others. And therefore, when you're flexible towards others, you're more flexible towards yourself, because, as within, so without, everything is connected. As above, so below, as within, so without, everything is connected. So when you're judging another person, really you're judging yourself, because they represent the part you rejected. And if it's a part that you reject, then it starts to have more energy, and it starts to have more influence. It starts to have more influence, where it doesn't really need to. With the temperance in the clarifying position, it is a message from the divine that you don't want to be too patient and too accommodating, too like lenient with maybe people that don't respect your boundaries or don't try to meet you halfway. I mean, even if they don't, it's okay if somebody tries to meet you halfway. That's already progress. But if a person doesn't even try, then you definitely shouldn't be as lenient or accommodating or understanding with them. And so temperance here is saying you need to have more assertiveness when it comes to your boundaries, especially in the month of November. This is a, Scorpio season, and Sagittarius as well, towards the end of November. So it's a very this month is you got to be very precise and very clear with what you were trying to accomplish, and communicating very clearly and without as much ambiguity as you can get is the best way to go. With justice, it's also important to remember justice is an equilibrium between your logic, but also your heart. And so heart tends to be more forgiving. Logic doesn't have that much forgiveness. So you got to balance those two. Bring back the heart into the situation, and rather than being, very rigid when it comes to logic and, oh, that person did me wrong, and therefore, I have to overthink about that situation, right? You want to sort of be a little bit more balanced with your logic and your emotions. So in the present position, you have the Magician, which tells me that you have a lot of potential to plant a lot of seeds and to put a lot of your manifestations in motion. There are going to be wonderful manifestations coming about, so it's up to you to really have a strong intention with, a lot of action behind that intention, because you have a lot of resources available to you, and the only thing that is, more needed is believing in yourself, and kind of taking charge and reinventing yourself and changing things up, so that you get the juices, the creative juices flowing, more imagination flowing, if you will. But you're working on expansion for sure, because you have the Three of Wands in the clarifying position. So you are expanding your situation because you're being more aware. You have, been through a lot, and you've learned a lot, and you've grown your awareness. Your mind is naturally curious, and as it expands, so is your ability to manifest and to create all the wonderful things in your life. Now, in the future outcome position, you have the Queen of Swords, clarified by the Six of Pentacles. And the Queen of Swords definitely tells me that, you want to be very clear about the abundance that you are creating for yourself. More money is coming in. The situation is being stabilized and under control, and you are doing much better than you were 4 or 5 months ago. And so I think that's a really great situation that is developing for you in the month of November, because you're using your clarity and you're using your wisdom to receive, and you're opening your heart to receive even more. It is definitely very important as you go throughout the day to say things like, how much better can this day get? How great can it get? How great can this situation develop? How great is this day going to be? You just, as stupid as it sounds, you just say that over and over and over and over with as much positivity as you can. And that gets the energy flowing. When the energy flows, so does abundance, because it will respond to higher vibration. Because you're not overthinking it. You're just sort of in this innocent, childlike, I'm here and I'm ready to receive, and I'm grateful and I'm happy, and you just sort of open your aura and your energy towards receiving. I had a card fly out. We have man, dealings or relationship with a man. Tea leaf cards. We also have broom. Someone is getting a new home, new attitude. This doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be like moving if you're not planning on moving. It could mean that maybe your office is moving, or like wherever you maybe have a hobby or volunteer or something. Definitely some kind of newness is coming in. We also have chair filled. Someone new is entering your life. So those are your tea leaf cards. Now for the Angel and Ancestor Oracle card, we have She-Wolf, Unleash the Wild Within. Definitely get in touch with your heart. Try to be as authentic, cultivate that super authentic energy, because it will help you tremendously in this transformative time. It will help you manifest better as well. So, you know, let yourself be as creative and passionate as you can. You also have Hollow Bone, teachability. There is a lot of wisdom that you have because you've been through so many different things. So make sure to share your wisdom. This is your reading for the month of November, Cancer. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.